Welcome back to Life on Record. Today's episode is recorded in 2 parts. Let's get into part 2.
Welcome back to Life on Record, the podcast where we laugh so we don't cry about our soul-crushing realities. So my wife, again, going back to things I admire about her, she didn't have a job at all, which was pretty scary if you think about it. So we moved out here. Luckily, I had a job and didn't pay enough to cover all our bills. So we had saved up money prior to moving, so we were able to rely on that. But she went, obviously, as soon as we got here, she applied to many different places, had interviews. Her degree was in project management, which, you know, you're familiar with. But specifically construction, which tends to be, unfortunately, a hard thing for women to get into. She applied at different places, actually in Tennessee, before we moved out here, and was turned down time and time again from different construction companies and stuff like that. I say maybe there's women out there that they're in those positions, but in the construction world, it's mostly dominated by men. And specifically in the South, a lot of those men are intimidated by strong women. So maybe I'm wrong. Who really knows the answer? They obviously wouldn't come out and say, we're not going to hire you because you're a woman, but I'm smart enough to read between the lines. So we move out here. She's applying different places, whatever. She also has a sewing background. She's a tailor, has experience in that back in Russia. And so she came across this bridal shop that was hiring for a seamstress. And she's like, well, I need to exhaust all efforts. So she wasn't really looking to do that as a career necessarily at the time, but that would be better than no job. So she applied to that and, of course, got the job. And then later on, the owner of that bridal shop wanted to separate the seamstress part of her business, and my wife took it upon herself to essentially start her own business, and I helped her do that. I wasn't, that knowledgeable in the ways of business, but we learned together and started her alterations is a better word, business. And then eventually the owner of the bridal shop wanted to retire. She was an older lady and sold her business to my wife. So that's what she does now. She owns that bridal shop and does alterations as well herself. And is highly regarded in the Denver area as the best seamstress or / tailor, because a tailor actually knows more, does more. She is a tailor. Like any other job or career, loves it a lot of the time, and some days hates it, but is overall happier than she was as a server in Tennessee, doing something that she knows she was overqualified to be doing, and just wanted a better life for us. And so yeah, it was hard, in the beginning, but we got through it.
Yeah, I have to say, I definitely admire y'all for starting your own business. Something that we've talked about that I've always had an idea or ideas to do, but I just never did it. And just working for yourself and proving to everyone else that you can do a really good job and be successful. And I think it's a great thing. I always have talked about owning my own business or starting a business and just never done it. I know it's hard and it takes money, but I think it would benefit me a lot more than it would working for someone else. At least I'd be a lot more motivated and more focused on it, probably. Not that I'm not motivated and focused on what I do now. I am, but I think I would I would be more working more hours though. I'd be working a lot more.
Well, there's, like I said, there's pros and cons to it. Being self-employed on it, running your own business. A lot of stress comes with that too, and she has different ways of handling that stuff. And some days she comes home and she's in the best of moods because business is great. She had a good day, no problems, and then there's other days where you have customers that are wild or whatever. You've heard bridezilla, or and a lot of times she said that it's not the brides, it's the mother of the bride or the friends or
the bridesmaids.
relatives.
It's not the bride, it's the bridesmaids.
Bridesmaids, yeah.
Or bridemaids, yeah.
Whatever. However you say it. I would say bridesmaids, I guess, but that sounds wrong too. So
like the bride's possessive maids, not multiple.
Yeah, the bride's bridemaids, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, so yeah, she does love doing it and having her own business, and but there's been ups and downs with that as well, as far as financially, and going through COVID and struggling through that, and still coming out good, and then having to make changes, whether it's staff or to your space that you're in, or what lines that you carry in your store, and downsizing, and all the challenges that come with that, and then how much you charge people for different things, or lot go into it, and just working through all that. But it's an ongoing process. But yeah, we definitely haven't been happier in the past than we are now. So yeah.
Okay, cool. So speaking of businesses, we're going to take a quick break to show some love to a business we generally rock with. We're talking about Paco's Powder Coating. If you've got wheels, parts, metal finishes, anything you want to bring back to life or upgrade, they've got you covered.
And not just covered, done right. The quality, the durability. It's one of those things where you get back and go, yeah, that was worth it.
Yeah, they take pride in what they do, and it shows. Whether it's a full custom job or just cleaning something up, they treat you like it matters.
And that's hard to find now. People who actually care about their work.
So if you're thinking about getting something powder coated, hit up Paco's Powder Coating in Watkinsville, Georgia.
Plus, Paco's is a veteran-owned business. They provide exclusive discounts for bulk orders, returning customers, active duty or military veterans, and first responders. And here's the deal. If you mention Life on Record when you call, email, or stop by, you get an additional 10% off your service.
So check them out at pacospowdercoating.com, and you can find them on social media. The website is in our show notes, so tell them we sent you.
All right, back to the episode.
All right, we're going to get into our next segment, some things our wives will write about. My wife would probably love this part of the episode if she listened to the podcast. She doesn't listen to the podcast. My wife has warned me about some of these things years ago, especially when it comes to my work habits. I tend to be centrally focused on work and really hone in on what I need to do and spend an exorbitant amount of time, even additional time that I probably should be spending with my family, on work or improving work or growing in work, whether it's working on more education or more certificates or whatever it is. I tend to be laser focused on that stuff when it really matters and I'm trying to improve it. And so that does take away time from our family. And like doing this podcast, I tend to sometimes get centrally focused on that, and it takes away from time, things that we want to do together or things that she needs me to do. So, she's warned me about that. So I have to be really careful in how to move forward appropriately in our life and our relationship so that it stays great. Communication, she's warned me about, not communicating correctly or not telling her about things or not talking about things. Not that it's decisions that we need to make, but it's just like communicating what's going on, communicating with how I'm feeling, communicating, replying back to her, and making sure that I'm actually listening as part of it, not just the talking part, but actually listening, being an active listener, and making sure that I'm portraying it the right way and understanding it. Stress management, we've talked about this before, where I can get stressed out pretty easily. I had a stress injury in the Navy, so it can bother me if I don't control it, if I don't do things that will help me relax, or things that will keep me moving forward so I'm not thinking about bad thoughts, so that it helps me be more comfortable in life. And then also being stubborn. You've probably heard my brother bring that up a couple of times, right? Sometimes I can be an asshole. I try to be a nice, easygoing person. But there were a lot of times in the military where I had to be that way. I had to be an asshole. I had to be stubborn. I had to, hold people accountable, put my foot down. I had to be, it's my way or the highway type of thing at work, but I can't be that way at home. I have to be, the loving, caring husband and father, and I can't be stubborn to say it's this way or it's no way. I have to be flexible, have to be Semper Gumby. But not being stubborn, that's one thing that she's warned me about multiple times, and we've talked about it and had those conversations. And although she's allowed to be stubborn, just so we're honest here, right? She's allowed to be stubborn and be things are her way or it's not correct, right? Her way is the right way, but I can't be stubborn. But that's okay. That's just something that's part of our relationship.
No, Matt, that's not
nobody's
okay.
Nobody's gonna.
What are you
agree
talking
to that,
about?
But I get it. Yeah, that's just how it is. Happy wife, happy life. That's how it goes.
I mean, everybody's relationship is different. If
exactly, that's our.
If that's what makes it y'all happy, that I can't.
But reasonable. You have to be.
I know.
Reasonable
Yeah, exactly. No, I feel
stubborn. It's reasonable.
I feel you on this because wife is probably the most stubborn person I met. Even though I've said you're stubborn before, she's more stubborn. And going back to our argument this morning, and what you're saying about communication, I told her, I said, maybe from now on, I think what I said was, if I give you some information, if I'm telling you something or giving you information, I think what I'll do is I'll say that information and then ask you to repeat it back to me because she swore up and down that I didn't say what I said this morning. So that was our argument over something stupid like that, where she's standing right next to me. I said something and then she swore I didn't say it. So, and this goes both ways, And I know
have you ever thought that maybe you said it in your mind, but that's not the words that came out? Because that's happened to me a lot, where I thought I said something, but that's not the words that came out.
And maybe I'm being stubborn in this, and this is where we need that instant replay. That we've seen those commercials.
We got to roll
need
it back. Throw the flag.
We need it. Yeah, roll back the footage, because I swear I said something and then she just completely missed it. But that's okay. Like, it's not, it's not something that I'll be mad about for weeks about. It's stupid. It doesn't matter. It's inconsequential. Just have to move on. I'm sure we'll have a nice, time when she gets home today, or this evening, and from work, and we'll have dinner. We'll maybe enjoy a TV show or something, and we'll be fine. So
she'll let it. She will forget about it, but she'll never let it go. She will not let it go. No, she'll remember it. She'll remember it.
No, I don't think so.
No?
Because, well, I mean, she was saying that she's not thinking about it when she left to go to work. Like I said, we gave each other a kiss, and I didn't want her to leave. She thinks that, well, she'll say I have two personalities. I talked about how I'm pretty positive and upbeat and stuff like that, but
you do. You have a split personality. If no one's told you,
so
you do.
Well,
we all do.
See,
we all do.
I don't think everybody does, but there are times. I
haven't met anyone that doesn't act differently in different situations.
Maybe. I try to act the same in all situations, But like say when I'm at work, I always try to, maintain positive outlook on things and be upbeat and stuff like that. And even at home or where, when I'm hanging out with friends or whoever. But I guess when you feel more comfortable around people, you do let out other sides of you. So like when I get mad or something at work, I don't necessarily yell out or show my frustrations at work. I'll wait till I get home or if I'm mad about something at home, I let it out right then. And so I could see where she says I have two separate personalities. I'm also a Gemini, so maybe that's part of it. I don't know. I don't necessarily prescribe to a lot of that. But I do.
What's a Gemini? What is a Gemini's?
The twins.
See, I noticed exactly. That's what I'm trying to get across. Like everybody doesn't understand. They're like, Gemini, wait a minute. There's your twins, so that you have a twin personality.
Yeah. I mean,
there you go.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's been times where she's not the type of person to necessarily yell or she gets mad and she just kind of shuts down and gives me the silent treatment, which has actually been a long time since that's happened because.
What's your wife's horoscope? She's a what?
She's an Aries. Her birthday was just a couple days ago.
Couple days ago, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what is an Aries?
I don't really know. I mean, again,
I don't know either. That's why I was asking.
She can tell you all about that. She's more into zodiac or whatever, that stuff. We've read the personality traits of all that stuff, and it aligns for the most part.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty much spot on.
It's pretty accurate, but that's not all who we are. So.
No, of course not. It's just one small little piece. And you don't even relate to it until you think about it and you read what it is and you go, oh, wait a minute, that is me. But that's only you part of the time, not all the time.
Yeah.
Only the part when you're thinking about it, probably. Like, I'm an Aquarius, water bearer, somebody that supports and helps. And I don't always do that, but a lot of the times when I think about it, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
I guess I do sometimes have dual personalities. I see it come out sometimes when I'm at work. I'm more focused on being like a mature, responsible individual. And then when I come home, I'm a kid again.
Like yeah, because you want to be professional at work, but then when you're home, you just want to relax.
But in my mind, I always want to be that kid. So I don't know if I mentioned this before. I constantly have a struggle with being an adult. Do I be a child? Like I want to be a child, but also I'll be 45 this year and I probably should be an adult at some point. But I mean, maybe that's just society.
Do you really want to be a child though, or you just want to have no responsibilities to be able to have fun all the time? You don't want to be a child where you need a parent to take care of you and make your dinner and wipe your ass and change your diaper, that type of child. No. You just want to be somebody that can have fun.
I want to be silly and goofy and have fun and enjoy life. And, we don't always get to do that, obviously. But so, like I said, I'm constantly struggling with myself. Even at work, I'll still joke around with my coworkers and stuff and try to make things light, and they look at me weird and think I'm crazy, and I'm always trying to crack jokes and stuff. But I'm kind of lost here, Matt. Where the heck are we here? We kind of went off track and.
Yeah, it's okay. Let's jump into our last segment. So what changes after 15 to 20 years? So being married and you get to that point, I would say that we have to have more patience. That definitely changes because you're not too worried about a lot of things that you were worried about earlier in your marriage. You tend to have more patience, although I have always had good patience. My wife, not so much. So I try to be a more patient person and just let things go, with the flow. Obviously communicating gets better. It gets easier because you've been doing it for a long time and you're used to it. You're used to the quirks. You're used to, how it works and how the conversations go. You're definitely more willing to accept differences because early in your marriage, you're thinking about and working towards understanding each other. And then now when you've been married over 15, 20 years, you're more accepting to those things. And some of those differences you actually really enjoy. And it makes it part of the partnership. Those differences could be as little as what you were talking about earlier, Kenny, about just having your own independence and doing things separately, but together, or in the same place, but just enjoying your own little world. And being different about those things is easier to accept because you love and cherish and have been dealing with these things for a long time, and it makes it a little bit easier. And that leads into definitely having a lot less ego than you did when you were first together, because
for sure
you're not trying to challenge or trying to get the person to care or love you more. And having the ego about, okay, well, it's all about me. No, now it's more about the other person, where you're like, I want to make them happy. I want to help them be successful. I want to help them grow. I want to be more involved. At least that's from my perspective. There may be people that have been married for 20 or 30 years that be like, I don't even care about this person anymore. I love them, but I don't even want to hang out with them. It could be that way too for some people. I don't know. I think it gets better with time, but what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I was just going to say that it comes with maturity too.
Definitely.
Especially
maturity.
for people that get married young. A lot of times those relationships don't work out because people aren't mature.
Especially men. We just don't mature
exactly
as fast as women do.
And like
you
said earlier, you're a couple years older than your wife, but in reality, she may have been more mature than you at the time. My wife is 2 months older than me, which really she's way more mature when we first met than I was at that time. And
so you're probably just now catching up after over 20 years.
Exactly. And I'm barely mature
where she was 20 years ago. You're just now catching up.
I'm barely. So, I definitely I'll joke about something and she just stares at me with this blank look on her face. And I'm like, okay, I guess that wasn't funny. Some things do get harder though. Especially as you get older, you're, dealing with maybe some health issues that you have to, but that's part of your vows when you marry someone in sickness and in health. You need to be there for them person and that person in their dark times as well as the light. I mean, there's no, it's the yin and yang. It's you don't have, it's hard to enjoy things if you don't go through some tough times as well. And kudos to my wife again. I've gone through more health issues, I think, over the years than she has. It's not a competition, but she's had, just thinking of things that she's had to help me with compared to what I've helped her with as far as that goes. And I'm sure it wasn't always easy for her, but again, she's a very strong person and has able to help out when things get tough in that regard. Our bodies are changing, you have kids and, like I said, you get older and things, don't always look the same as they used to look, and
your body doesn't work the same that it used to.
Yeah,
either.
exactly.
I mean,
things don't work.
Are killing you. Your back's hurting.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah, there's different things you go through that luckily, and I'm sure you could say the same for your wife as well. My wife's very empathetic and very nurturing person. A lot of people that know her may not say that because she doesn't necessarily show that all the time. But
Kenny, you got to listen to your wife. You put the Band-Aid on the boo-boo, okay? You got to put the Band-Aid on the boo-boo.
Yeah, when things come down to it, she it's very helpful, and every day's not rainbow and sunshine.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything that surprised you most about all this time that you've been married? Is there anything that you're like, whoa, I didn't really expect this? Could be good, could be bad. I don't know.
Well, in particular, her patience with me, just because I know that I can be a lot sometimes. Like I mentioned, we're almost completely opposite people. As I've mentioned before, I enjoy cannabis. She does not. That's taken a lot to get used to with her, or for her to get used to, I would say. Because
you don't remember anything when you're high. You're just like, whoa, let's go.
It's not necessarily true. But yeah, sometimes my short-term memory is not all that great. So like, I don't really remember what we talked about on past podcasts necessarily. If I pull it up and look, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I remember that now. But let's see. I guess what surprised me most is her patience with me, just knowing how I am and how sometimes I don't know, like have that dual personality where I can be kind of quick to get upset about some things. Sometimes I'm just trying to think something specific. But her adaptability as well.
And she takes care of you a lot too. She does a lot of stuff for you. I mean, you do stuff in
I
a
wouldn't say she
but
takes care of me a lot. And it's something I didn't mention earlier. When we, the early days of our relationship, and the reason why I fell in love with her, or let's just say the moment I realized I was in love with her is after we had moved in together. After my roommate had left and then she moved in with me, she
made you that first tasty meal and you were like, oh, this is it.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
that's what I'm saying. She's doing things for you.
So I was sick. I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I was sick. I couldn't work. I was at home on the couch, taking medicine, blowing my nose, coughing, whatever. I had a head cold. And
so everyone's clear, when my brother and I are the same way, I don't know if our parents are like this, but when we're sick, we're deathly sick. It's like we're on death's door because we wait and put it off for so long. Exactly. We become big babies. My wife says that all the time, and she has to take care of me when I'm sick. Obviously, I would take care of her when she's sick, and I have. But yeah, we become very big babies, just so everybody's clear and they understand kind of the back story of this. The background of our sickness.
Yeah, so
it's bad.
But her first thought was make chicken soup or chicken and rice soup or chicken noodle soup. Mm-hmm. I don't remember which one it was, but
it's good for your soul.
And again, I'm very blessed in the sense that she enjoys cook. That's probably her main passion in life is cooking. So I was lucky, and as soon as she made me that soup, I was like, yep. This is the one. And not because she made me food and she cooks necessarily, but it was her first thought wasn't, well, I got to go to work. I'll see you later. That wasn't her first thought. This guy that I guess she felt something for, she liked. At that time, neither one of us had said, I love you to each other. We haven't said that. And when I did tell her that I loved her, I said it first, and she was like, oh, cool. That was kind of her reaction, and I blame that on her being Russian. They're a little cold sometimes. But deep down, she did love me, or she wouldn't have made that soup. And yeah, so I knew from then that she was the one for sure. So yeah, just her nature, I guess, and her patience with me would be what surprised me the most about her.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So if we were to wrap this podcast up, package it all together and say, Here's some advice that we'd give you. What are a few things you'd give to the audience?
Okay, first, it kind of go what I was just talking about, but don't expect your spouse or partner to fix you. I just explained that, she was taking care of me and stuff, and we've both grown over the years, but I never once expected her to make me a better person. It just happened naturally. By listening to each other and just, you have to want to do better and be better,
You have to accept those learning opportunities.
Exactly. And then here's another one. Have the hard conversations early. We necessarily didn't do that. And Matt, what do you think you mean? What do you mean by hard conversations?
Well, have the hard conversations about
what?
Early in your relationship. It could be anything. These are the things I like. These are the things I don't like.
Politics, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that could be
important.
Part of it.
If that's important to you,
there's some people out there that don't let their wives vote, or have a problem with their partner voting. Maybe that's something you need to have a hard conversation. That's not good for your relationship. At least in my perspective, it's not. I don't know. Having a conversation about, do you want to have kids? That's a good thing to have early. Don't get into a marriage and then realize that one of you don't want to have kids, right? Or have the conversation early about, maybe you have a partner and you're not married. Maybe one of you doesn't want to be married. I think you brought that up on a previous podcast. That's a hard conversation to have, especially when you're in a committed relationship or you care about someone. Have the hard conversation about, where do you want to live? What do you want out of your career? Sometimes relationship requires one of the spouses to really support the other one because they want to have a budding career or a career where they can be very successful. There are some spouses and partners that don't want to have careers, and they just want to raise children, right, as their career, right? They just want to take care of the household as their career, not that they want to go out and have a job and be successful there. Having those hard conversations early is good because now you know what that relationship is going to be like in the future, and it's something you can work towards, and you can help the other person get there. Sometimes if you have, let's say for example, you have a partner that wants to have a successful work career and one that doesn't. Well, the one that doesn't can help motivate the one that does and keep them focused and help them and give them the support that they need so that they can go in and continue to grow and drive that successful career. So say one of you is a professional, I don't know, like a doctor or a lawyer or something that takes a lot of education, and you're going to have to spend a lot of time at work, a lot of time away from home, and being that support mechanism. If you have that hard conversation early, hey, we're both in college, we're meeting, we're dating, we're going out, I'm going to be a doctor, so this is going to take a lot of support, and maybe the other person doesn't want to have a very strong, successful career, and that other person can support you. Or maybe you both do, and you say, hey, we're both going to have these very successful careers. Do we want to have children? Yeah, but how are we going to deal with that? What are the things that we need to do to support our family so we can have children too, or no children, depending on what it is? Or maybe you both want to live in some other country. Sometimes people want to do that. They want to move to Australia or Bali or Indonesia or Europe or wherever, and it's just talking about that. Hey, I really want to go to live here and experience these things. Let's talk about those things early so that you don't get married and you're in a relationship and then go, I don't really like or want to live where we are. I want to move somewhere else. And the other person's like, no, I don't want to leave my small town because I love it here. Having those conversations is good early because then
prevents things
from happening later in your relationship that could be bad, but it also helps you drive towards some kind of goal or success that you want out of the relationship.
Yeah, set those expectations early.
Yep.
So there's no confusion and no issues later, or if they do pop up and be like, hey, I was under impression, because of this conversation we had 5 years ago, you said this, and now that could be a problem.
You have to compromise too. Yeah, you have to compromise too.
And don't say something that you don't believe in either. I mean, don't just be a people pleaser, So and also this is important, is to laugh a lot.
I love
whether
that one.
it's whether it's you making your
Laugh at yourself.
spouse or partner laugh at yourself, joke about it with each other, go out and experience life and be amongst other people and laugh about other people together, have little inside jokes about things, and that's important. That helps build that relationship. Go to a comedy show. That's always fun. We love to do that here. Just
And laugh at other people. That's fun.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Enjoy life together. If you want to be with your partner, your spouse for 40, 50 years, you have to enjoy. Don't force enjoyment on each other. Like, hey, you have to do this or you have to do it so we can have fun. No, don't do that. Just come up with things to do together that is fun. Life's way too short to not enjoy it. So enjoy it as much as you can. Be goofy together. If you can't be goofy with your partner, who can you be goofy with?
And that's when you're really in a good, loving relationship, when you can be your
be
goofy
silly
side.
and try to have as much fun as you can while we're here, while we can. Their times are tough sometimes, and it's not always easy. So
you got to protect the time. Go ahead.
Go.
I was going to say, you got to protect the time you spend together too. You really have to focus on being present with what you have available, because like you said, Kenny, life is short. You don't have a lot of time in this life. We might live, some people only live 60, 70 years. Maybe we'll live 80, 90. I don't know, but there's not a lot of time, but you got to protect that and spend the time where you can, instead of out working all the time. I know it's a lesson I definitely have learned being served in the military. I just spent a lot of time gone and working a lot, and I really wish I could get that time back. But now I try to protect that time, make sure that we have the space to do things and enjoy life together. And you got to learn together too. Don't learn alone. You got to learn together and grow in your relationship. And hopefully you're going out and doing new things, right? Go do those adventures.
If you're not learning together and growing together, you'll grow apart. We've seen it happen with couples. And I hate to bring this up, but specifically our parents. I think they grew apart. Obviously, they got divorced like 24 years ago, I guess, or so. That was their relationship. They know more about why they split up, but the point is, if you're not learning together, or if you're not spending quality time together, and laughing together and growing your relationship, it will fall apart. Unfortunately, it does happen. Communication obviously is a huge part of that. If you don't like something that's happening, communicate that. If you like something that's happening, communicate that. So we're all on the same page. We know what each other like and what we don't like, and can move from there. So, but that is all for today's episode of Life on Record. Like, share, and subscribe. And if you're new to the podcast, tell a friend, family member, or colleague about us. We just might make their day. Thanks for listening.
Life on Record is written and produced by Matt and Kenny Compton. Music by Mr. Smith.